Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 7 Ages. On the last turn, Rome was discarded. That was definitely the most significant thing that happened. French spread out in all South Europe here. The US also are growing. So do the Russians here. And Benin was also discarded. So we have now here 4 possible empires that might show up in the next rounds. So, gray player is the first player, and the red player will actually start an empire, and it's going to be the Melanesians. We've seen them already, pretty early in the game actually, before the Dark Ages, and now they show up again. The red player doesn't have too many options here. Basically, could also play the Sinhalese, but they had to compete then with the Satavahana, which is probably pretty hopeless. But the Melanesians, they give them right away 2 points for their homeland and for Australia, and maybe it's possible somehow to grab another point for being biggest in the world or so in the near future. We'll see about that. So they start only with $8. Oh my goodness, that's really bad. And a setup of -7. Well, let's give it a shot. Okay, so at least they got the ships of the line. So they start here in Papua with 2, with a spear, and then with a ship of the line, and that one is more on that side here. And that's it. They can't afford any more. They've spent all their $8 here. Well, that's 2 glory points. I mean, that's at least something. And nobody else is going to start an empire now. So we come to the production phase, and the Dutch, they will do a production action now. But before they do this, they can use their Christianity special ability and convert an adjacent space. So they're simply gonna take, they're simply gonna take a unit and move here into Germany. And because they are in H5 now, this wheat also counts now to the income. And the city is of course destroyed. So the Dutch have an income of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 10. This is then 14. That city is 15. And this city here is then 18. And they got to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $7. So 11. Where is their marker? Here we are. Okay. So that's not exactly impressive. And they want to be rich, because that gives them glory points. So basically I thought maybe they should expand a little bit here. There is Denmark, which is fertile. The Black Forest also comes here with a with some wheat. So that might be an option for them. So I guess I'm going to produce a few units here and try to grab some of Central Europe. Okay, so they purchased these units here, and there is no other musketmen left, so they have to take that spearman here. And, well, I think I'm gonna simply place these guys here. And these two guys here, and that should do it, I guess. Okay. Fine. Then we see another production action. No, we don't. No other production actions in this turn. So it's interesting now, we got this, well, this small army here, kind of threatening the capital of the French. But the French have a lot of resources here. So basically, they come to an agreement not to attack each other for the next turns. The French say, okay, you can have Central Europe, that's fine with me as long as you're not growing too big. And the Dutch also are not that interested in controlling lots of Europe, because it doesn't give him any points anyway. They just want to be, they just want to get some more income and basically control a lot of areas out of Europe. So we see now maybe some trade in progress. Yeah, the Zimbabweans, they want to get out of this dark age here. They're stuck there now for a very long time in the dark ages, and they really want to get out of there. So the problem is they still don't exactly have a convincing card. The best they can offer is a 4. It's hard to say. I mean, if they play that card here, the earthquake, if they trade that with, let's say, the Ethiopians, then the Ethiopians gain that card, and that it's kind of dangerous for Zimbabwe, because they might see an earthquake then in this area, which would be pretty painful. So maybe they're gonna, oh boy, I'm really not sure what to play. This is also a very bad card, drought. So they can do a lot of harm I want to keep that card. Oh man. Okay. I think I'm gonna shit. Okay, I think I'm gonna play that drought. It's a little painful if that should be played against us, because it only gives you income from land areas. You don't earn income from land areas, but only from cities and oil. But we have some good cities here, so overall it will not be that devastating. So I'm trying to trade with the Ethiopians here and throw in that card. And the Ethiopians, well, they only have crappy cards. It's really hard to say what to do here. They could try the Habsburgs here at number 4. That's probably the best they have. Yeah, so I think they're also going to play that card. So they both have a 4 now. And we draw first some cards for Zimbabwe. That's pretty good. That's a 6. That's a very strong card. And then for the Ethiopians, okay, that's only a 2. So Zimbabwe definitely has won that trade. And now finally made it into the other age, and they can move 3 spaces ahead now. So that was really cool for them. And that gives them also 2 glory points. Okay, so that was then the trade phase. And then we see the maneuver phase. And we start with the Vietnamese. So they basically want to spread out here. They want to be big in Asia, remember that. So they're going to move here, the Bay of Bengal, the Java Sea. Now let me see what to do, how to handle that. Moving through jungle, I think that's 2. Yeah, that's a movement cost of 2. Okay, so anyway, we're going to move down here. Would be kind of cool to move here into Sichuan and grab that fertile area here. I wonder if it's possible. It might be, actually. Yeah, if we go with... Oh man. If we move with this guy here, and we can move with this guy here, and we can move with the knight right there. So that is now pretty impressive, because now actually the Vietnamese might end up and being pretty big, actually. So we're going to defend our borders somehow. Maybe move here with these guys and... Yeah, that should do it now. So let's see how many spaces they now control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That might be the biggest civilization. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So now the Vietnamese are actually the biggest civilization in the world. Impressive. Okay, then we see a maneuver action by the Armenians. And they also want to spread out here a little bit. So basically they can move here. And well, one of these can easily move here, and then this guy can move here to Persia. The administrator stays here. And yeah. So they are now actually also pretty big. Yeah. I think I'll move with this guy, oops, right there. Okay. Okay, so we see now a lot of big empires here. It's an interesting time. Then the Ethiopians, they play a wild card, which costs them a glory point, but on the other hand allows them to also do a maneuver action. Okay, so let's see, we have here an explorer, and this guy is now kind of cool because the units that move with the explorer, they have an additional movement point. The neutral areas only cost one movement, no matter what it is, if it's mountains or jungle or whatever. And another interesting point is that they can move through areas. You don't have to leave a unit in an area you move through. You only have to leave a unit in the area you just started with your explorer. So these are interesting options. Now, I'm wondering, I mean, I only have a few units. That's a little sad. I think I want to move here. So this is reduced now by 1. And shit. Okay, because I have the paved roads. If I move to cities, it only costs me 1 point. So I can move now here and then here. And that now allows this guy to leave Ethiopia and move to Kenya. And then finally I can actually move. I wonder if I really should take this guy. I think I'm going to take, oops, okay, here we are. I'm going to take that unit to move here, and then take a spear and move through these areas here, Cyrenaica, Tripolitania, right to Carthage. That city is destroyed, but I actually do now control this area. So I'm trying to grow a little bit here. Okay, any more maneuver actions? Yes, definitely. The French, they also want to do a maneuver action. They want to be big in Europe, and in addition, they want to have colonies outside of Europe. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to move... Wait a second. Well, they're going to... what are they going to do? Okay, so well, that would be possible. Okay, so they're going to move. I think this guy stays in goal because it's simply a strong unit. That's not bad. This unit will move here to Castile. And then that unit is going to move here to Portugal. While this unit here will move to Andalusia. And finally this guy can now move to Morocco. So that means they are now pretty big, and what's even more important, behind the Dutch, they're now the second biggest. They are now the second biggest colonial power, basically. If I'm not mistaken here. Wait a second. Okay, so I realize now we have a pretty weird situation here now. These colonial empires means you count your land areas outside of Europe and compare them with the land areas of other empires outside of Europe, but only with these who have their capital in Europe. Now the point is here that the Armenians, they actually do have their capital in Europe. Armenia is in Europe, the border is right here. So that means this is actually something we have to count if it comes to colonies. So it's going to be now very hard for us to be at least the biggest one outside of Europe. I'm not sure if I like that, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I find it hard to understand these areas as classical colonies. But it's hard to draw a line here. It's the same thing with the Russians, an example. If they expand to Asia and they have their capital in Europe, that would also count as colonies. And it's hard, I don't know, I mean, strangely enough, I find it actually easier to accept if the Russians do that than if the Armenians do that. But I cannot really explain that. Anyway, I'm going to follow the rules here. I thought about saying, okay, this is an exception. The Armenians don't count in this or something like that. But as I said, I mean, where would we draw the line then? You know, the next one would be the Russians then. They also might not count. And maybe also then some old civilizations or whatever. It doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to say at least the ones who have their starting region in Europe should all count. Because in theory it would even be possible for a big non-European empire kind of simply to conquer a single European area and then in a civilized action just build their capital there or something like that. If your capital is destroyed, for example, you could do that. And then basically just to take points away from the other players. So there is a problem with this rule, but I think we can say as long as you have your starting area inside of Europe, in Europe, or the land areas outside of Europe count as colonies. So in this case, Armenia would indeed be the biggest colonial empire. But okay, until now I think it didn't really matter. Although I'm not sure, maybe the Dutch wouldn't have been then the biggest colonial empires, because I think the Armenians had 4 or 5, I think they had 5 outside of Europe, while the Dutch only had 4. But okay, I mean, if I had known that, of course the Dutch would have played that different and would have made sure to increase their colonies. So I think it's okay. From now on we're going to play it that way. Okay, now we're going to see another civilized maneuver action by the Irish. And what they're actually going to do is they will stay there. They just do this maneuver action to get rid of this disorder. And they need 3 units in Ireland. But now the disorder is gone. And in the next turns they can focus on expanding their influence area. Another maneuver action is now by the Russians. Well, they want to be big in Europe. They got to compete against the French here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it shouldn't be so hard. So basically they move here. And, well, these guys might just move here then. And, well, yeah. And then I might... I wonder if I should move... I mean, I get points for being big in Asia. But if I think about that, it's very unlikely that that will be possible. So I guess what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move here and maybe kind of improve my position in Europe. I still can move into Asia in a later turn, but I think right now it's going to be very hard to become one of the 3 biggest powers in Asia. We got the Japanese there, we got the Satavahana, and the Vietnamese, and they're all terribly big. Okay, that's then the end of the maneuver phase, and then we're going to see a destiny phase. The pink player starts with a destiny action, and, well, he's actually thinking about starting the Ukraines in the next turn, which is an option, I guess. It's definitely not bad. But maybe he finds some better empires. So he's going to discard that one and draw 3 new cards. The English, whoa, that's awesome. That is definitely an interesting empire. Pretty sure better than the Ukraine. But it's not going to be easy. The Marathas, well, they would show up somewhere in India, I assume. Well, I'm not sure. Where is that? Q5. Well, that's somewhere here, huh? What the heck? Is that one? Yeah, it's that one. Maharashtra. Okay. I don't know. Probably not the best idea. And the last card. The Picts or Scots. Well, they could also be started. But it's going to be pretty hard for them to become big in Europe. I mean, number 1 in Britain, that's a realistic option. But to get more than 2 points is very unlikely here. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see them. Anyway, the English or the Ukrainians, not sure yet, but definitely some interesting options here. Okay, then we see a destiny action by the yellow player, and he's also looking for another card he could play. Basically, he doesn't have really good cards. The Manchus, they had to compete with all these powers in Asia, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Australians are pretty bad too. The Mughals, I don't know. This is all not a good idea. So I think first we got to discard a few cards. Maybe on the other hand, he could play the modern state actually. That would be an option. With the time ripple, he could play the modern state. I haven't kept that in my mind. Well, maybe I'm going to do that. But for now, I think I'm going to discard these 2 cards and draw 3 new ones. Let's see what we find. The Magyars. Oh, not very good. The Babylonians, and again our uprising here. Oh, we see that very often. Surprising. And the Mongols. I wonder if we... I mean, I really wonder if we have that card twice. We cannot start the Mongols, but I'm going to check that. No, we don't. I was convinced I played that card already while I was playing that deck here. That's really weird, but okay. Well, maybe the uprising is there a few times. That could be possible. Yeah, here we go. That's exactly it. The Mitanni, they also have the uprising. That's what kind of confused me. Okay, so We see another destiny action here by the green player, and he also needs to find good empire he can start. That's possibly something he wants to keep. What about that one? Okay, so he throws away these 3 cards. Maybe even that one. All the good cards now. Okay, and draws 4 new ones. The Etruscans, the Mayans, no, not a good idea. The Harappas, oh my dear. And the last one, the Zung, no. Oh man. So again, no good cards here for the green player. Well, has to try it another time, I guess. Okay. So the red player, I made a mistake here. I started the Melanesians. That was actually not my plan. What I wanted to do instead, and that would have been pretty cool, I wanted to play the Flood and then a New Destiny, and with that I could have grabbed the Japanese Empire. It would have been full with disorder markers, but that would have been a pretty cool move, I guess. Well, now it's a little late, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, I did it. Okay, I let them in play now, and I might actually think about discarding them again. Well, who knows? Okay, finally we see some civilized actions here. The United States, they are going to do a civilized action, and they're not going to play any cards. They're going to promote a leader. They're now in the 5th age, so that means now they can actually promote Jefferson. Okay, there we go. Thomas Jefferson. He's a philosopher and a populist. So let's place this guy right here at the capital. We can adopt a religion or a government, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to adopt Christianity, which is important for the United States, and that gives them a point. That's the gray player here, and a disorder marker. Which goes to the capital. But because Jefferson is a populist, I think it's pretty easy for him to remove that disorder marker. What else can we do? We could modernize some units. I wonder if we can do that. I don't think so, actually. And then we can urbanize. So I guess before I improve that city here, I will actually see how to remove this marker. Okay, so what I could do is, during a maneuver phase, I can simply remove a disorder marker of the area of the populist. Still, what I want to do is, I want to place two cities, one here and another one here. Okay. So, there we go. And that's basically it for the US. And we see another civilized action from the Japanese. Well, let's see. Okay, so once again I'm going to play the uprising, and once again I'm going to play it on the Dutch player, on the gray player. And I can draw up to 4 cards. And I need a higher card. Well, that's a 0. That sucks. A 2. Well, yeah, here we go. That's a 7 though, so I'm going to keep that card. And then the Dutch player can draw up to 2 cards. Okay, he's going to hold on to that 5. He thinks that's not too bad. But the other player has a 7. So he can now place 4 disorder markers in some of these spaces, and well, there are actually a lot of troops in the lowlands, so it doesn't make too much sense to place disorder markers there, but I think I'm going to place them then in the colonies. So that will cost the Dutch player definitely some points. We had that uprising early on, then came the land reforms. But people are still not happy there. So now we have again lots of disorder here, and that is a problem. Definitely that's a problem for the Dutch player. Now he will be even more happy that he decided to expand a little bit here into Central Europe. Okay, now we can promote another leader. And I'm not sure who's going to be. Again, we could promote Tokugawa. Wait a second, that's not true. We can... This Hokusai. Oh, that was an artist, wasn't it? Okay, I think I'm going to take that guy. This here he is, Hokusai. He's an artist, and maybe I managed to grab some points, some artwork, some artifacts, and yeah, followed by some points then. Okay, then we could adopt a religion, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to adopt Buddhism from the Vietnamese. Okay, let's see where we find that. Let's take one of these. Here we go. So that gives me then another artifact and the advantage of getting rid of disorder in a much easier way. Okay, that gives the yellow player a glory point. Then we can modernize. And we can actually now modernize our old ships, so these here, to new ones. So now these, and these are, no, wait a second, is that so? No, that's not true. I'm lying here. No, absolutely not. So we'll stay a galley for now. Okay. Anything else we could modernize? I don't think so. Nope. But then we can urbanize, and because we got that builder, we can actually improve that city. And in addition, we can improve this city here. And also this city here. So that gives us, again, more income. Okay, so that was then the Japanese turn, and we come to the discard empire phase now, and no empire will be discarded during this turn. Okay, it's going to be interesting to see now that some empires here enter now a dark age. Lots of them actually. I kind of missed that. So that would be, the yellow one is gone anyway. So the Ethiopians, the Dutch, and the Vietnamese, they all enter that dark age. All these move ahead. The Irish and the Russians now have Renaissance. And the Armenians also enter a dark age. So, let's see. United States, they are biggest in the Americas, that's 2 points. They are Christian now, but they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries, so that's not big enough. So 2 points for the United States for now. But I guess there's more to expect. The Dutch, 1 point for their homeland. Wow. Nothing for the colonies because they're all in disorder. But I guess 3 points for the artifacts, and that's it. So 3 points for the Dutch. So now without their colonies, they're not that successful anymore. And the Vietnamese homeland, wow, 4 points for them because now they are biggest in Asia. But because they're in a dark age, it's only 2 points. So overall, the gray player wasn't that successful. Pink one, the Armenians. Let's see. They are again in a dark age. So 1 for their homeland, nothing for Asia, and they are probably the second biggest Christian empire. What about France? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Desert doesn't count. Disordered areas also doesn't count. So they are the second biggest Christian empire right now. That gives them another point. So overall it's just 1 point for the Armenians. The Ethiopians, well, they are, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, desert counts for them, that's a special rule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's not enough. So they are second in Africa, so only 2 points for the Ethiopians, but because they're in a dark age, it's only 1 point for them. So again, the pink player had just another very bad turn. The Japanese, the yellow player now. Well, again, they're doing awesome. 1 point for their homeland, 2 points for being biggest in the world. They still are biggest seafaring nation in the world. They still are, although the Vietnamese come close. They control 3 sea spaces. The Japanese control 4. So that's then 3 points. And they are the wealthiest nation too. So that's again overall 8 points for them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they are coming closer to the top. 1 for homeland for French. Now, are they third? That's interesting. Now, I think they actually are. They are even second with their colonies, if I'm not mistaken here. Because the Dutch don't have any colonies right now. So we only see the Armenians. And then this single area here gives them actually 2 points. Because they have a 3 here written. So that gives them 2 points, which is pretty cool. So that's 3. And then 2 more, because they are now biggest in Europe, I guess. But I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No way. The Russians are biggest. So that means they are second biggest in Europe. Still 1 point. That gives them then 4 points overall. Not too bad. Red player. And these extremely glorious times of the red player are probably over. Zimbabwe now, well, at least out of a dark age, so 3 points for them. That isn't so bad. The Irish. Well, that's number 1 in Britain, number 1 in their homeland, of course. And now what about how many Christian empires are there? More than 3, I guess. We see the Dutch, the United States, yeah, lots of them. Ethiopians, Armenians. So just 2 points for the Irish. It's going to be hard for them to become a big Christian empire once again. And the Melanesians, they are number 1 in Australia, and they control their homeland. So that gives them 2 more points. So the red player stays in the lead, but it's getting closer and closer there at the top. Now let's see what about the green player here. The Satavahana, they are no longer the biggest empire in the world. So that means now they gain only 3 points. And the Russians, well, number 1 in Europe and their homeland, so 3 points for the Russians. 1, 2, 3. That's not bad, but it's also not that impressive. So overall, it's pretty close between the first 3 players. They're all in more or less 12 points. And then we have that gap here to the green player, and the pink player is, well, pretty far behind actually, especially to the top. So, I don't know. If you will catch up, it's going to be hard. But between these first 3 players, still everything is possible. Especially, I have my doubts that the red player can hold the lead for long. But who knows? Okay, well, it wasn't too extremely interesting, I think. Many empires kind of consolidated their position. The Americans, the French, the Armenians, the Russians, Ethiopians, they all spread out, grabbed a lot of territory here, Vietnamese are now the biggest in the world. That is a significant change. After a long time, the Satavahana were clearly number one. But overall, not too many things happened. We might see, it's going to be interesting to see how the Dutch want to solve that problem with the uprising here in their colonies. I don't know. I don't know how they want to do that. Maybe become Buddhist. But that won't work. Okay, so hope to see you in my next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Until then, bye.